Hi, this is, Leigh Ambergy, stampwithleigh.com. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Mentor, Ohio, and thank you so much for joining me today for this video. Before we get started with the card, just some reminders that my free PDF tutorial for the month of November features the Season of Chic bundle, and this is yours free with a $25 purchase from my Stampin' Up! Site using a certain host code, and that includes 5 pictures, 5 cards, pictures, the material list of the material used. I have such a hard time with the word material. The list of products used, and step-by-step directions on how to make each of those cards. Also, I want to let you know that the Holiday Mini, the last chance sale for the current mini catalog, that will be starting, the retirement list, that will be starting December 1st. We'll go to, I believe, January 4th, and that will be while supplies last. Some items are discounted, and I will have the link to the last chance, to the retirement list from the mini, and also the carryover items. That is on my blog. It's down below the video. But be aware that if there is anything in the current mini that you really like, grab it, regardless if it's on sale or not. If it's been reduced, grab it before it's gone, if you want it. And again, there will be a link for the carryover list also. So today's video is featuring the Fitting Florets bundle, and this is in the new mini catalog coming out in January, but it was an early release, and Stampin' Up! Paired that with some exclusives. Unfortunately, I just checked, and the gold adhesive back swirls, which I didn't use them on the card I'm showing you today, but let me see if I can grab those really quick. Yeah, these are no longer available. That has sold out. It's no longer available, but the designer series paper is still showing that it's available. And I am filming this video the November 17th. Yeah, and it will post on my blog on the 20th. But as of the 17th, the designer series paper is still available. And I did not use that for today's card, but I do have cards out on my blog that feature this designer series paper. But this is the card that we're going to, I'm going to showcase today. And I know you're looking at it and you're saying, Leigh, you do simple. That looks complicated. And you know, you might think it is complicated, but it's really not. It's just a lot of what I'm going to say, pieces, parts. And you know what? Let me just back up here and turn my little heater off. My stamp room is it's the bedroom that's the furthest back. I'm a ranch from my furnace. So it gets a little chilly back here in this room when the temperature is 35 degrees outside. But it's not complicated. It's just various elements, various pieces. So that's what we're going to work on today. And I already have stuff heat embossed. I already have it colored. This I use I still keep wanting to call them aqua painters, but they're not aqua painters. They're painter brushes, painter pens. I can't remember what they're called in the catalog. My customers know I make up names for this stuff and call it my own name. But all of this is just your heat embossing. And I did not do the heat embossing. Wanted to do it on the video because I am not smart enough to figure out how to, with my videos. There is the editing software that I can like segment off a section that would be like the heat embossing with the heat tool and speed that up. And I would need to like watch the Google directions for dummies like probably 5 times before I can get that to work. So I just did this ahead of time. But if you're not familiar, this is the painter brush, painter pen, whatever they're calling it. They come in three different sizes for the tips. And like I said, I've already heat embossed this. But in case you don't know, when you go to heat emboss, I see so many people, they've got their embossing powder on here, they grab the heat tool, they turn it on and put it right over it. And then it seems like they're like, I can't tell if this is changing. Take the time to turn your heat tool on and just don't put it on your, what you want to heat emboss, but just put it, you know, hold it and actually count or look. Let your heat tool heat up for a good 10-15 seconds. Let it get good and hot, because then when you come over to heat emboss, you're going to see, because that tool is, it's nice and hot, that tool is going to just boom. You will see this turning the shiny instantly. So just have a little patience, and remember, before you go to heat emboss something, let the heat tool warm up, because then you're not over going, did it change? I don't see it changing. You will see it changing. So that's my challenge for you, is to get any stamp, get a piece of cardstock, use your Versamark, because you want to use Versamark ink when you're using embossing powder. Stamp something, put some embossing powder on it, I don't care what color, and let your heat tool heat up for 10 or 15 seconds, and then start to heat emboss, and you will see a big difference. So just keep that in the back of your mind, something that when you're like, I don't like heat embossing because I never know if it's fully embossed, try it, okay? Something that, you know, I want this to be fun for you. I want you to enjoy using all the different crafting elements out there, and embossing powder is one of them. So we are using painter. I have a piece of paper towel, and this was stamped on, and I don't know if you can tell, the shimmery white. It still has a little bit of meat to it versus regular cardstock. Basic white or very vanilla. It's almost like that shimmery to it has a little bit of a coating. So this will stand up a little bit better using a liquid to the cardstock versus basic white. You can use basic white, very vanilla, thick, basic white, very vanilla, but you need to make sure you don't overwork that cardstock. But it's also, it's shimmery, it's pretty, and it's not as heavy as our watercolor paper. So that is what I stamped this on. And I am going to be picking up the ink from my stamp pads. So this is the older style. So if you just squeeze the front of that, you're going to get ink on there, and that's what you pick up. Sometimes I do notice with the newer style, I do have some there, it's a little bit harder to, you got to press a little bit harder to get your ink. But I've got my balmy blue, and get my brush wet. So I've got some, I've got some water on there. And I want to start light, because this is supposed to give you a watercolor effect by using this. And I just like to do a light, very light brush on there. If I want to come in and accent to make something a little bit darker, then I almost kind of like dry my brush off to just in a sense get my ink a little bit more concentrated. Now, if I want to try and blend that a little bit more, then I come in with just some water on my brush. And again, I do not want to overwork this. So that's, and I'm squeezing again to get the color out. So that's just what it is. On this card, I used Greeny Apple Green. And I'm not going to do this, color this whole thing on the video for you because that would be kind of silly. But this one I'm using Soft Succulent. In Soft Succulent is in color when the new catalog comes out. Unless Stampin' Up! Does a color refresh, it's going to be going away. So if you like Soft Succulent, grab that while you can. In the ink pad, the re-inker especially, the blends, and you grab the markers for those in colors. So I mean that's just it. And this then was popped out with the coordinating die from the framed Florets. And then that's it. That's how you use the, I want to make sure I did clean this. Yeah. The painter pens, painter markers, whatever they're called. So get that out of the way, get this out of the way. I'm going to set that aside. So basically, here's what we have. We have Bummy Blue cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11. It's scored in half. And I'm just going to get my bone folder. Of course, I grabbed the yucky one. And then this is basic white cardstock. And again, I heat embossed with the silver embossing powder. And I just randomly stamped these because I knew I was going to be using 2 of these to fill that in. Okay, to cover up that gap. I mean, and that's all that I did. I also have a piece of the silver specialty paper. And this is what we're going to mount this onto. And I'm trying out, I ordered these little, ooh, this feels gunky. These little glue bottles that I squeeze some Tombow into. So I've been trying to remember to grab it to use it. And I'm using it because sometimes the adhesive tape runner I prefer to use doesn't always stick to the foil paper. So I'm still testing these little, but that does give you a very, very, very fine tip of liquid adhesive. So I'm going to see if I can get this centered. Because you know what I say, some days are a challenge. So that is there. Let me then build my panels. I just might as well use this since it's out. And I'm only going to put, for right now, adhesive in the center because I know I want to slide some other elements in there. So, do I like that way? I think I'm going to go that way. Again, just going to put this in the center. What do I want to do? I think I'm going to do, it's migrating. Here it is. Let's see. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I think I'll do that. Okay, now I also cut this out with foil, but I know I don't want to use all of this. So I'm just going to snip some off. And don't be afraid to snip your die cuts. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that wasn't going to stick off my card. So I do kind of like that, sticking up at the top. Well, this really is a nice fine tip coming out of there. Okay, now I did stamp the smaller flower, and let's get this away. And I'm just going to use that for some fill. there. And do I want another one? So I'm going to have my greeting going this way. Yeah, because then I'm going to be covering up a lot of my little embossing. So I don't think so. So I'm going to put this. Okay, so that's what we're doing. So let's get some glue on the back of here, liquid adhesive. I'm going to have to figure out something with this thing because it's driving me crazy. But I did notice the tip of that was kind of gunky and gooey. And oh, I still need that. And the glue still came out. So it did not, nozzle was not blocked up. So that's a good thing. All right, so I also heat embossed So Lucky to Call You Friend. And I've got dimensionals on the back. And yes, I use every bit of my dimensionals. I'm going to put this here. And then I used the metallic mesh ribbon. And I made a little tiny bow. I've got that on a glue dot. And this one I put off at the bottom of the greeting. But I think this one I'm kind of going to put down here. And then you can fan this out and open if you want. And then, let's see, I used rhinestones, the basic rhinestones on this. But do I want to use, I don't know if I want to use, do I have silver pearls? Oh, I do have a few silver pearls left, but I do kind of like the rhinestones. Let's put some rhinestones on this one. These are on the carryover list, so mine have seen a lot of love. So I'm going to put some of the silver on here. One, two, three, four. I need one more because I put these in odd amounts. Yeah, let's go there. So then all I have left to do is put the inside in here. And I always forget when I think I'm done with liquid adhesive, I close it up and then I always need it again. Again, I want to put the stopper back on that. And then again, I just did some heat embossing on the inside of this also. And I mean, there you go. Once you get your heat embossing done and you color in your flowers, it's boom, boom, boom. The card goes together relatively fast and easy. So again, it's still, to me, it's not super, super simple, but it's still very simple as far as putting the card together. Like I said, just do your heat embossing, color, die cut, and just add in your layers. So I hope you have enjoyed today's card. And again, thank you so much for tuning in today. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.